If you were to believe what you see in the news media these days, you'd soon get the idea that public education in this country is falling behind the rest of the world. Can it be that every one of our schools is flawed? Doesn't seem likely. We figure there must be some that are doing it right. So we decided to look around, find some schools that are doing it right, schools that put it all together in a child-centered way, schools that make learning fun, that make kids feel comfortable and safe, schools that are flourishing. We found one such school in Sunbury, Ohio. A small town with a charming rural atmosphere in Delaware County, north of Columbus. The school is Harrison Street Elementary. At Harrison, we found an American school that is doing it right. We sat down with the school's principal, Dr. Lynn Kaczynski, to learn more about their approach to learning.
What we have is an approach that is called joyful learning. We are sharing with students the passion of and the love of learning, and we're doing it in such a joyful manner they don't even know how much they're learning. And we're teaching them skills so that when they do come across problems or obstacles, that there is another way to approach it. So that what we're trying to do is make sure we touch all the needs of the students, and each individual one, but at the same time we're trying to have an underlying feeling in the classroom that is supportive and trusting. My teachers are great because they love what they do, and I call them my superstar teachers, which is all of them, and they're enthused. They love teaching.
What word is that right there? I. Pop! Do you see what I mean?
And they love teaching because they're really trying to look at that whole child. And when they look at the whole child, they're saying, how can I best teach so that that child is going to love learning? How can I teach so that that child will make a connection with the world? And how can I make sure that they leave my classroom every day going, I can't wait to get back? We look at how students learn fast. We look at how they're going to retain material. And then we look at that passion, that heart. You know, how do we create students so that they'll love learning forever? We have an environment that is stimulating, but it's also calming. When you walk into the school, what we want is to have that environmental feel that, boy, this is the place to be. It feels good and I want to learn.
I think the thing that makes this school special is when you walk in, you get a sense of warmth. There's a very strong sense of community here that parents feel, staff feel, the students feel.
I think parents, and me being one of them, really like our school in the sense of our communication with them. It's a very open policy. I have parents come into my classroom all the time and watch, help out, help tutor with kids. So they feel very comfortable coming into our classrooms, and they don't feel like it's something that this is school and it's separate from, you know, what we're doing.
There's not a day that I come here that there aren't parents in the school. In fact, some of the parents are here so often I thought they were teachers. So we had, I don't know exactly how to put my finger on it. It's a wonderful school. I really love it.
No question, absolutely. I love this place. It's a very special place.
We know exactly where we're going, so we visit the outcomes that we are expected to teach all the time. But what we do is we take into account all of the research that we can possibly find about the brain, because the brain tells us, you know, how students learn. So the teachers look at the brain research that's out there, and they constantly say, how can I make learning faster and better, and how can I incite that passion for learning, and how can I make it fun for the students? Part of the approach of brain learning is that we try to figure out the learning style for every student. So for one student, maybe they will learn much better by dancing, by moving, remembering the material while they're moving.
All the king's horses and all the king's
And for another student, they would just rather be over in the corner reading about it. We know that the brain is going to work better, number one, if it's stressed less. And kids come to school with stress. And when you're in the fear mode, you can't grasp material, and nor are you thinking about it. So our goal is really to try to get kids to be calm and focus on the happiness of it. And so the first thing is to try to make it that, boy, I love my teacher, I love my classroom, and I can leave everything else outside because when I come here it's going to be a safe place to learn. And then they set up the learning. We know that the brain has to connect with something, and it has to have movement, and it has to have novelty, and it has to be fun.
So for you to understand why solids and liquids and gases the way they are, you have to understand their molecules. We're going to fill this chart in, and then we're going to go outside, and we're going to be molecules of solids, liquids, and gases. So you can feel what it's like to be a solid, a liquid, and a gas. Solids will be purple, liquids will be red, gases will be green, green for gas. Could you stand inside the hula hoop, please? Would you please demonstrate to your class how, as molecules, you act in each of your states?
So those are the activities that we set up. If you're trying to teach economics unit, it's not going to help the little kids to just be sitting there listening. So instead, it makes a whole lot more fun if they have to apply for a job, and there's a production unit, and a quality control unit, and a sales unit. So we go the whole route so that they live it. And they can then connect it with their own lives, and then I have a better understanding for their memory. We also know that if you tag strong emotions with learning, that you're going to retain information more. So when those students become the actors in the classroom, or they're doing the research projects and they share it with the classmate, or they're teaching the class, it's packed with powerful emotions. And everybody claps. And that feels so good for those kids. So that joyfulness is what we try to do. And we try to make it through the whole school. So everybody in this school laughs a lot, and everybody in this school says a lot of positive things. So with that in mind, we look at the environment, and we try to make changes in that. We have a lot of water. We know that the brain needs lots of water in order to learn, and so we have water bottles everywhere. Students are required to bring water to school.
I highly encourage my kids to all bring water bottles. I think it's very important to be hydrated. I know that every day I have water and I drink it, and I think it's real important that the kids do the same. And they're free to have it on their table at any time. They're free to get it from the reading area. They're free at the calendar. If they're thirsty, they kind of like getting a Kleenex. They don't need to ask. Just get up and get it. Because I feel that's very, very important to be hydrated.
We're switching lighting to get away from fluorescent lighting, and to that end we're putting in the natural lighting fixtures. The environment has a lot of sound. Teachers use music. Teachers will have nice classical quiet music going on in their classrooms. And what that does is it just gets the body ready to learn. Many of the teachers are wearing auditory enhancers, so that students sitting in a group will know that this is an important piece of information and be able to sort out the background noise.
So what we're going to do, boys and girls, is we're going to listen to it on CD, and I want you to see if the reader who's reading us this story, Hunter, let's see if they read it with excitement. Want to? All right.
As we know, sitting in seminars as adults, it's hard to sit for a long time. So my teachers will say, gosh, it's been about 40 minutes. I think we better get up and do some brain gym exercises. And those are exercises that are developed from educational kinesiology just to get that left brain and the right brain working together so that students are more focused and they're ready to absorb new material.
In the mornings, to get ready for our day, we do a brain researched activity that pretty much all the teachers use. It's called Brain Gym, and it is researched on connecting our left side and our right side of our brain, and using our whole brain, and there's different Brain Gym activities that you do that actually enhance math and reading and science. And we just do the simple, what's called PACE, and what we do is they're learning how to breathe and getting that oxygen flow into their brains. And then you saw what they were doing, the parallels, where they're just touching the left side of their body to the left side of their body and the right side. And then we do the crossovers, and so that's connecting their left and there's connecting the brain sides so that they're getting a better overall picture.
A few years ago, I spent some time at a workshop for Brain Gym, and I was so impressed with the research behind it that really proves that we can do so much to enhance student behavior and performance, and also academic performance. And really it involves just a few minutes in the morning when the students come in, and then we repeat the Brain Gym exercises again in the afternoon right after they come in from lunch and recess. And by doing Brain Gym activities, we know that we are actually getting our brains ready for a really healthy and productive morning.
For me, it's a great form of exercise for the kids. It's a great brain activity, which is exactly why we call it Brain Gym, for the kids to be able to do that, and they've come a long way.
Students are on the computer in every classroom, I would say, every day. We are lucky to have mobile labs for computers. Oftentimes you'll see computers in the whole classroom using it together. While it's teacher-directed activities, students are off usually on their own, doing their own research type things, putting together their own PowerPoint presentations, so that they're learning the skills, but they're learning it within the context of a project that they're doing, something that they're studying, something that they want to learn more about. Our TV station, of course, is just every day. Kids love it. They love to see themselves up there, and they love hearing the school news.
Good morning and welcome to another broadcast of WHSE Morning News. I am Elizabeth Finnegan from Mrs. Reel's 5th grade class. And I'm Cecily Nelson from Mrs. Hoag's 5th grade class. Today is Friday the 23rd of September.
But it is exciting for the students to get on the TV and share their information. Plus, we're finding out that we have a lot bigger response. So when the kids are the newscasters and you want them to remember to bring in their labels or return their picture money, we get a very good response.
Even the casual visitor senses that Harrison Street Elementary has become a special place for learning. The school offers warm, inviting, and secure surroundings for students, parents, and teachers alike. But does Harrison measure up as well academically compared with other schools? Dr. Melissa Conrath, the district superintendent, thinks they do.
We do see the results in the academic achievement of the students. If you look at our test scores as simply one measure of student success, our students here are doing well and probably a little bit better than what would be expected based upon a number of factors. So we're seeing the results in our standardized testing, our state testing. I think you also see results in terms of the parent support. There are a number of factors that I believe are important when you look at whether or not a school is successful, and certainly academic achievement is one. Our students from this building are very successful in future years.
How has Harrison Elementary gotten to where they are today? What are the elements that make it all work? It all begins with Harrison's principal. She has put together a staff of teachers who share her joyful learning principles and who work together with trust and enthusiasm.
This will be my 5th year here. So I spent my first year just doing what I'm asking the teachers to do, and that's to build trust. I made sure that I tried to get to know every teacher and let them know how important they were. So I tried to build those relationships to begin with, because that's what I'm expecting teachers to do. My job is to give them that spark, and then they take off with it. And I don't have to worry anymore past that, because they take off, and the synergy in this school is really quite amazing. Let me share with you 3 teachers. Mrs. Susan Montfort is a first grade teacher. Miss Jenny Horman is a kindergarten teacher. And Mrs. Nicole Stepsis is a fourth grade teacher. Mrs. Horman, kindergarten teacher, uses a lot of physical exercises to get those little 5-year-old bodies ready to learn. So you might see her in her classroom having everybody do different kinds of activities, but similar along the line of how do we deal with the brain at a 5-year-old level. And Mrs. Montfort, another excellent teacher, is very gifted at being able to figure out how different children read, so that she is not using one approach for reading, but she is using a variety of approaches. And while all students might receive more than one approach, you can be guaranteed that your student will be reading well by the end of first grade. Mrs. Stepsis will bring science to life, guaranteed. She has a garden outside of her door. She uses a water garden, so we have tadpoles and frogs. Kids are bringing them in, measuring sizes, putting poetry to that, so that she brings every single activity to life.
Today was our very first day of introducing science, and I knew that I had to get across the main idea for what we're going to do. So I had to plan some really great activities that were hands-on, that incorporated all the learning styles that the kids would remember by the end of the day and been able to repeat. My whole mindset was, how can I make this fun and real to the kids?
What does matter? You keep saying vinegar, water. What does that
So that's what I was thinking about all weekend. Last night, I was just laying in bed thinking about how Professor I Matter was going to come to life and why that was important.
Teachers are always looking for great ideas and loving to implement them in the classroom. And I attended a workshop this summer with Dr. Martell. And one of his suggestions, which I thought was fabulous, was to encourage the children to bring in pictures of their family. But I loved his idea of actually displaying them on a class wall, a wall of prominence, a wall of honor.
Everybody, check out our family. Oh, everybody say hi, family. Hi, family. We sure do love you.
We sure do love you.
It's going to be a great day in first grade.
It's going to be a great day in first grade.
It's going to be a great day in first grade. We're going to work so hard.
It's going to be a good day in first grade.
Keep an eye on me. I'm going to be having lots of fun.
Keep an eye on me.
And get a great big kiss ready to blow to him. Very good. Hey.
Formal in-services we have are twice a month, and we will talk about what's going on, or I'll have a speaker come in, or we'll read a book together. The informal ones are very powerful because that goes on every day, all day, when teachers talk to each other. In addition to that, I have a Friday focus, and in that Friday focus I point out things that I've seen in the school, questions that I want people to think about, articles that maybe they should read. So we have a pretty strong informal and formal structure here.
But Harrison's teachers don't have to work in a vacuum. They have plenty of help from the community around them. Parents, teachers, and administrators are all dedicated to a common goal: to achieve a positive and inclusive atmosphere for their children.
I have a very strong support system in this community. The superintendent is in our school at least once every other week. She makes sure she stops by the classrooms. In addition, I share with her that Friday focus every week and put on a little note, say, this teacher went out and did this and received a grant, and now we're going to be able to do more hands-on activities.
I think we've had the opportunity over the years to hire good people. We have strong leadership in the building, and I think my role has been to support that and make that happen, then provide the resources that those staff need to get the job done. Meet some of the teachers and some of the staff that are in the building, and you get a sense of some of the good things that are going on.
School board members are here. One school board member in particular has been to almost every function we have.
I'm always introduced as a board member when I come to events, but I actually spend a lot of time here working with the kids and getting to know them. So I think that's one of the ways that the board can be supportive, is by showing an interest and being involved in what's going on.
He owns a business in town, and so when the first graders are learning about production, they take a field trip over and actually see how you run a business. And so that whole part of the community is just very supportive.
Several years ago, one of the first grade teachers called me up and said, we have our own company this year, and when we get done with our program or our project, we'd like to come and see how a real business works. And so I manufacture 3-ring binders and do screen printing. So they brought all the kids to my building. I took them on a tour of the building. I showed them how we make a binder. I showed them how we print a binder, did the whole thing. Well, that became an annual event.
Parents play any kind of role you can imagine. They're in here tutoring.
We did yellow, right? We did green. Really pay attention because you're going to have to guess soon. We did red. We did pink. Orange. Black. You guys remember that one?
They're taking care of my gardens. They're painting my cafe.
One of the things that Lynn has allowed me to do, Dr. K, is to come in and paint a mural in the cafeteria. Right now I'm in the middle of painting. I've got 3 50s era cars up there on the wall.
And we, in turn, we hope we're communicating with the parents on a all-the-time basis, so that what we're trying to do is make it a family. You know, it's really a treat to be in a school where we have joyful learning. Joyful learning is just touching that child's heart. It's putting together the passion of teaching, and you see kids light up every single day. It's the connections between the teachers, the parents, the community. It's the connections between the students themselves, because there's those aha moments every single day. So the love of learning is just what it's about. How do we create students so that they'll love learning forever? Because we want them to leave here with that love.
So the next time you hear someone in the media knock our public schools, think of Harrison Street Elementary School in Sunbury, Ohio. The teachers, the principal, the parents, the entire community, they're doing it right. Together, they are giving their kids what they need to become better learners. And all, especially the children, are having a good time doing it.